Alrighty, g'day. Malaki here. I've got another guest that's joining me, Todd, who I'll introduce in a sec. But just a bit of a preamble. This is sort of my commitment to creating free content, and I just feel that there's people out there that I know, and it's good to just catch up and have a conversation in a professional environment. So Todd's been very gracious to give up some of his time, even though he's been running and he's got his own sort of program and stuff like that, which we'll go to in a sec. But how are you going anyway, Todd?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on. It's always good to catch up with good people, and it's been a while since we spoke. But I think like the rest of the planet, trying to deal with it at the moment. I was only saying to my partner earlier today that it still kind of feels a bit surreal to me.
Yeah.
As far as the work I was doing prior to the shutdown hasn't really changed. I was working from home before, so nothing's really changed there. The biggest change for me is the shutting of the borders and the impact that has on my visitation with my kids in Newcastle. But which is obviously not a positive change. But I'm doing okay. But it still kind of feels like a bit of a dream at the moment, or a nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't know which one.
No, I'm feeling you, mate. So I'll just jump straight in there. So you mentioned you've already worked from home, so that doesn't change for you, right? Like in terms of just your day-to-day activity, I guess you could say. Like it's just
I guess essentially. Prior to that, I was doing a day on site at a customer's site. So yes, that's changed, and obviously just the freedom to be able to go out and engage with people and have meetings and face to face. That's changed, but fundamentally, sitting at home as my home office, that hasn't changed for me. Whereas I think people that have shifted from 5 days a week, going to the office and coming back, it's a pretty big shift, and it takes time to get used to it.
Yes.
From my opinion.
100%, mate. And so you've got about 20 years experience in, would you say it's the HR industry, or in terms of just supporting like in a procurement sense from different types of companies?
Yeah, I'd say experience predominantly in the labour hire recruitment, and then moved more into HR in the last kind of 12 to 16 months.
Interesting. Yeah, that's cool. I also saw you've launched a new platform which is called Facta, I think.
Yep, that's right.
And really interesting spin on that. I like that's kind of part of my limited work experience too. Is now that I've got a little bit of skin in the game, is it's about relationship, right? And so that I really like what you've done there, mate. And so has any of that sort of work been impacted by the state of affairs?
Yeah, we started this project, myself and my partner started this project, roughly about this time last year, seriously. So it's been, a good period of time starting to get right in development, working with developers to build a platform. We're not technical founders, so we can't, I think the term's write a line of code, or we can't. That's been a real experience. So at the moment, there's not a lot of companies out there necessarily with a whole lot of cash they want to spend on something new. So certainly been an impact in that way, but I'm trying to take it as a positive as well, to say, well, this gives us a bit more time to refine and improve and learn. There's a whole list of activities that we still had on our to-do list, which we're starting to plow through now. Which is the way you got to look at things. I think in this day and age, you got to look at the positives. Otherwise, there's so much negative stuff you can drown in it. 100%,
mate. Yeah. Just in terms of the industry, I guess, just back on labour hire, I guess you were saying, like, what's one thing that you can see right now that kind of industry or particular companies, they're doing really well? Like one thing that they've just embraced in this season and they've really been able to pivot very well?
Yeah, it's a good question. I know that labour hire traditionally has been something that gets pretty heavily impacted during these downturns. It's always the first people in on an upturn and the first people out on a downturn, right? So you get rid of your contract staff before you get rid of your permanents in most environments. So I'm talking to a few colleagues. Obviously, I'm out of the day-to-day, but talking to a few colleagues that they're starting to see it really drop now. 20% declines week on week. So what are they doing about it? I think the good ones are really investing in their people. They're not taking the the first approach, which is normally get rid of them.
Yes.
They're actually going, these are our heart and soul, our businesses, our people, and they're actually investing in them at this time. And, it might come to a point where that's just not feasible anymore, but they're not jumping the gun.
Yeah.
Whereas others that I'm hearing about are going straight to that bottom line and cutting and burning. And I think that's going to have a detrimental impact. I really do.
It's definitely it's a fine line, like you're saying. Businesses do need to survive, I guess you could say, from a financial point of view. So I can only imagine, like, I'm not a business owner myself, but someone, who does manage staff, I can really be empathetic. There is a lot of narrative around, obviously, people losing their jobs, but I'm not really sure about your narrative for, business owners. Like, I think they're stuck between a rock and a hard place as well. You might be able to talk more into that, actually, given, you've got a lot of experience in that area. Yeah,
I think so. And I think a lot of it comes down to, the margins that you work on as well, which is where I see, labour hires are traditionally very low margin business, especially if you're in that blue collar space. It's very it's commoditized, and it's, if you're getting double digit margins, you're doing well.
Yeah.
So it's not like you've got massive war chests of cash to be able to pull on. So I get the fact you've got to run it lean and move pretty quickly.
Yeah.
There's some others that will be a little bit kind of richer off and be able to hold a bit longer. But it's every business is going to be looked at differently. We were talking to a hairdresser the other day. My partner had to cancel an appointment, and this lady, even with this JobKeeper funding, she said, that's great to be able to get that money to keep people on, but I just don't have demand. That it's fine to keep my staff.
Yeah, wow.
There's nothing for them to do because no one's getting their hair cut. What am I going to have? What am I going to have them do? How can I keep them actively engaged and actually get some return on investment for that engagement?
That's a very interesting dynamic. Yeah. Never thought about that one.
Well, the way I look at that, and I think it's a key part right now, is you've still got a fundamental demand problem where no one wants to spend money and jobs are falling. You might have a supply problem because you bring your staff back, but you got nothing for them to do.
Yeah.
Then you could have a logistics problem because they can't come to your office because your office is shut.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do with that? And because if you do bring them and you just say, we'll just sit there on a chair, then you've got a psychological and mental health issue because nobody wants to come to work and not do good work.
Yeah.
It's kind of this melting pot of four problems that I think the only way to solve them is through education and actually investing in people now to get their skills better honed and improved, so that when the time comes to open the doors and get back to whatever business as usual looks like in post COVID-19, that they're better equipped for it.
Yep. No, I'm hearing you, mate. No, it's really good insights, mate. I'm going to just change gears a little bit here, and I'm going to ask you, what was your first job? How did it come about? Were you introduced to someone that owned the company, or you knew someone in there, or it was just pot luck? Like, how did that come about?
All right. So my first job, it's still embarrassing. I didn't get a job through high school. I was too busy trying to be a football star. So I spent all my time either at school or training.
What kind of football are we talking here? Sorry, just
rugby league.
Rugby league, not bad. Yep, no, that's good.
So I was too busy lifting weights and running to go and work at Mac. So I learned from that. But my first job came through football. So I was lucky enough to get some time at the Newcastle Knights as my out of high school.
Oh wow!
I did 3 years there, and the first job I had was through the club, which was a traineeship where I basically went from out to schools to teach kids how to pass the football and kick the football, and that was fun. It was myself and 2 of my best mates that we've been lifelong friends since that time, and wow. We used to travel all over the Hunter Valley and Newcastle and out into the greater Northwest to basically set up cones and let little kids run around those cones. A bit of fun. So it was a great job. As an 18-year-old, it was an awesome job.
Wow. Okay. What's without going too personal into like age and stuff like that, I'm just trying to remember people that I know, like footy stars from that era. Like, was it around the Joey Johns era or?
Yeah. So I was there from 96, 97, 98. So I was there when they won their
The
first
premiership. Yeah, wow. Oh, okay. The golden years.
Yes. So, but I was never good enough to play first grade. I played like the junior grades and reserve grade. But yeah, so those guys were there at the same time that I had my little stint.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm pretty strategic in asking types of questions like that because I'm a big believer of tapping into people that we know in terms of in our network. So not only for jobs, but just opportunities, and not only for yourself, but people can be proactive and make introductions as far as those things go. And I'm always fascinated to hear all those people's first jobs and how it all come about. There's an element of trust sometimes there that I think not on purpose, but we don't realize it and we don't tap into it more often.
Yeah, I agree.
No, that's cool. Because you also, we were talking about it before we started recording, on your video that I just saw around your mission, which is #7524U. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
You were talking about, I think it was just this morning, it might have been, where you're talking about a scenario where it looked like people were keeping social distance, right? And kind of using an analogy around, look, people, they somewhat can be trusted, right? If you provide the right tools and the right parameters. So I really like that spinner. I think there needs to be a lot more of that narrative, particularly around work and just in general, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah. I think it's a universal kind of approach that if you go in with a positive mindset and you actually believe that people innately want to do the right thing, whether it be at work, whether it be now that we keep that social distance. I think it's when you start to get it too negative and start to put too much rigor about what are you doing, why are you doing it, etc. It's a human nature is to buck against that. But we all know what it feels like to be trusted and to be given that freedom to do the right thing.
Yep.
99 times out of 100, that'll happen. You just need to manage the exceptions.
Yep. No, I like that. That's really cool. I guess we're very similar in that regard. So I really enjoyed watching that video. And do you want to talk a little bit more about that, your mission, I guess, in terms of, the #7524U? Like, what's it about? How did it come about? What's the end goal and how you progressing, I guess?
Yeah, okay. So how it came about is I live in Brisbane, Queensland. My three children who are 9, 11 and turning 13 live in Newcastle with their mum, and that's 752 kilometres away if you walked it. Now, I visit regularly, but obviously with all that's going on and border closures and basically shutdowns of travel, I basically don't know when I'm going to be able to get there again and hold and hug and see my kids, which is probably the thing I'm struggling with the most out of all this process so far. Absolutely. Well, not probably, definitely.
Wow.
So where did the kind of concept of 752 for you comes from? It's 752 kilometres. So basically I'm trying to run over the next 100 days virtually to my kids. So every day I'm doing 1%. It's also about setting goals and mental health and physical health, combining all that together.
Yeah.
To be able to maybe one day, show the kids that, hey, while Dad couldn't be there in person, I was there in spirit and in heart, and here's some proof of it.
Yeah, love that.
But it's also there just to try to promote those three things. That if we all set goals and we all strive to do things, and we combine our mental and physical health, that we can all get through this. Because I'm really concerned for myself and everybody that the longer this goes, the bloody harder it's going to be.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah, so that's the reasons for it.
That's so good. I love that. So you mentioned I think it's a daily 1%er. So what's 1%? What's run for you per day?
So it's 8Ks. So doing 8Ks every day. It's also good to get back into it. I used to do marathon running a few years ago, and but I'm not in that condition anymore. That's for sure.
So back on the kids though. So are they on TikTok by any chance? I'm just throwing you a bit of a curveball there.
I don't know. I think what kid isn't on TikTok at the moment? But, we had that messaging. I said, I reckon as a 42, 43-year-old, I'm not sure if that's street legal.
It's surprisingly though, it's gathering a lot of momentum. And my wife, she's a teacher, and she teaches grade 7, and she jumped on it purely from the fact that all of the students are on it. And soon as she joined and she started doing a bit of videos, all of a sudden, like, they just opened up. Like, all of a sudden they were kind of on her level. So I think that was pretty strategic for her. And then I sort of just jumped on too. And that's kind of been my commitment now, I guess, from a daily basis, is if I do a dance or a video each day, that's kind of like my exercise. I'm not too disciplined to wake up in the morning and do like a little bit of a workout just by myself, because I'm a bit of a social person. So it's been really good. Yeah. And I would definitely implore to check it out. You seem like the right type of person, the personality that could get some dance like routines going.
I'll have a crack, mate. I've seen all that dancing. I just didn't know where it came from. So I'll commit to do that. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll have a look.
That's really cool, mate. Hey, I really appreciated our time together, mate. I admire people that are putting themselves out there and still trying to create a positive vibe and message and stuff. And is there any sort of closing remarks, I guess? Is there anyone that's watching this in my network or your network? Is there anything or any way that anyone could help either you or your business during this season?
Yeah, good. Great question, and thanks for the opportunity. From my perspective, if anybody had 20, 25 minutes of time to hook up like this, for me to demo the software that we've developed and the whole ecosystem that wraps around it. Because every time I get the opportunity to demo the product, I always get another perspective or another little nugget to be able to go away with to improve it. So not looking for, anybody's money or anything like that. But if people can, commit a little bit of time to be able to do that, that'd be awesome.
That's excellent. Yeah, no, I love that. Just any kind of feedback, and the more you do it, I guess, the more you can refine it too. So that's really cool. I'm definitely going to include all the relevant links and tag you in this post.
Thanks,
but I've really enjoyed our time today, mate. I'll send you those TikTok videos too and see how we go. Might become TikTok friends.
Yes, why not? Why not?
All the best, mate. Take care and chat to you soon.
Thanks, Mikey.
See ya.